question. Thank you so much for your work, which helped me very much to understand about myself, especially in relation to avatars and fallen beings and the dynamics. I wanted to ask for your advice, as I'm in a very difficult situation psychologically, as I think I'm dealing with fallen beings in my life. Over 20 years ago, when starting my spiritual path, I joined a spiritual movement and stayed there for some 16 years. Some 5 years ago, I left when I understood my thoughts and feelings and that I do not belong there. Now I'm experiencing energetic and psychological abuse through my subtle bodies. Also threats to death and sexual abuse through energetic bodies in the form of thoughts, but also senses in my physical body. Those people state that I do not have my own will and must come back and serve their guru. I have been doing invocations since June. It helped a lot, but as I have no experience in working with energies and subtle bodies, through subtle lies coming through very intensive thought attacks, I made mistakes and got trapped, even opened my subtle bodies and now have no control over my thoughts, decisions and will. The situation became really unbearable, although I'm trying to manage it. Could you give some advice for how to deal with it? I was trying to stay neutral and read invocations as much as I could, but things went really bad. I watched all of your videos on the subject, but maybe you could give me some additional advice. Should I go to someone that can do some energy work in order to break these energy connections or help me somehow, or is it purely invocations and faith? Well, first of all, if you're dealing with intense situations like this, you definitely should not lock yourself that there's only one way to deal with it. All spiritual teachers have certain things we are focused on. And I'm focused on bringing forth these decrees and invocations, invoking light from the Ascended Masters. So if you ask me for advice, that's the first thing I'll say. But I will not, contrary to some other teachers, I will not say that you should only do this. So if you feel intuitively that you should do other things, by all means pursue it. But what I will say about something like this is that you were in a spiritual movement for 16 years, right? And that means that you may have had questions, but by and large you submitted yourself to the environment you were in. So you took in things from that movement. It's just inevitable. I mean, if you're in the Boy Scouts, you're going to take in certain things from the Boy Scouts. It doesn't matter. So what I would recommend is that you take a look at this movement, its teachings, its guru. What were they saying? What were they really saying to you about how you should look at movement, how you should behave? I'm especially concerned about this well, there's threats to death and that, but especially concerned about this. Those people state that I do not have my own will and must come back and serve their guru. I mean, that's not really a spiritual movement, that's a cult. That's a typical cult environment. Where, and I think if you look at this, you will see that over those 16 years, you absorb certain things there that you're supposed to be loyal. You're supposed to, whatever it was in your movement, I don't know the movement, so I can't say the specifics, but you can see it, I think, that you should follow whatever the guru said, you should be loyal to the guru, you should serve the guru, and how you should do it. And it's projected on you that this is what you have to do, maybe to attain salvation or enlightenment or whatever it is. But there's a reason why you have to do it, because it's actually best for yourself to do it. And so what I mean when I say that when you are in something for 16 years, you absorb things, is that you absorb things at a subconscious level. There are things that go in. It's not that you're not seeing them with a conscious mind, but they go into your subconscious mind. And what it creates in the subconscious mind is what I've talked about in many videos, these subconscious selves. And they're based on a certain belief, like for example this belief, I should submit my will to the guru because then the guru can do something for me. For example, I'm not saying this was the case in your movement, again I don't know it, but it could be something like this. So you have created a subconscious self based on this. And the reason why I'm saying all of this is that you are very clearly describing that you are vulnerable to these projections and you feel like you've lost control over your mind because of what's being projected at you from this movement. But the reason you feel this way is that you are still taking in what they're projecting at you, and the reason you do this is you feel that you should be loyal to something. And this is what I'm saying. You have a subconscious self that makes you think that you should open yourself to these projections. Or that even if you're not thinking this consciously, it's opening yourself up to this. So you need to look at this. What was it that you were, let's just be completely undiplomatic, what was it you were brainwashed to believe about this organization and this guru? And why you don't have your own will? And then you need to come to consciously see it. And you need to consciously realize that it's an illusion projected upon you. And why is that an illusion? Well, I explained this in many of my videos, but what I'm saying is the core of your being is the conscious you. And it's pure or neutral awareness. And nothing that has ever happened to you here on earth has changed the conscious you. That means your growth, your ascension, your return back to the spiritual realm does not depend on anything on earth or anyone on earth. No guru. No guru can guarantee your ascension. No guru can prevent it unless you let them. So, you need to look at the fact nothing had changed who you are. But in your subconscious mind, emotional, mental identity, you have created, based on the programming from this guru, you have created these subconscious selves. And yes, invocations and decrees, and I've said this several times, invocations and decrees can help you by protecting you from what's being projected at you. But they cannot change your beliefs for you. You have to do this consciously. So what I'm saying is you have a subconscious belief that makes you vulnerable to these projections, and you need to uncover it. You need to make it conscious, come to look at it, dismiss it because you are realizing, but who I really am was not changed by being in this movement. And my ascension, my growth does not depend on this guru. He has no power over me. And when you come to see this, then you can dismiss it. I mean, again, I don't know understand that you are in a difficult situation, as you say. The situation has become unbearable. But if it was so unbearable that you couldn't think about it, you wouldn't have been able to ask the question. So that's why I'm saying, even though it's a difficult situation, I think you are able to do what I said. Step back, look at, why am I vulnerable to this? Why is it unbearable? Why do I feel I have to even react to this? I have left the movement. Why do I have to react to what they're projecting at me? Well, that's because you have a subconscious belief that makes you vulnerable. Somehow makes you believe you're obligated to take this in, you're obligated to consider this, and it has something to do with the fact that they put something in your mind that you can't make it on your own, you can only make it through this guru and this organization. This is typical cult modus operandi. Once you are in, you can't leave because you are dependent on something in the environment. And as I said, it's just a lie. It's just not the case. The conscious you has not been changed by your 16 years in that cult. And therefore, once you realize that and you experience that neutral awareness, you realize this has no power over you. You're real, and what they're projecting is unreal. And that which is real cannot be affected by that which is unreal.